Let's try this again. The Philadelphia Phillies and the Houston Astros are going to play Game 3 of the World Series tonight after being rained out on Monday night. Here to break down what all the changes and impacts mean for both teams is Locked On Phillies host Connor Thomas. Connor, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Kale. A little well rested with the night off last night. So I appreciate you having me again.
The Phillies wasted no time as manager Rob Thompson announced that Ranger Suarez would start Game 3 after a rainout on Monday. What do you think this does for the Phillies?
Well, it certainly sets them up in a better position, not just for tonight's game, but for the rest of the series, because you avoid the bullpen game, which was the big advantage that the Astros had over the Phillies in this series. So now you get a chance to throw Ranger Suarez instead of what probably was going to be 2 to 3 innings of Noah Syndergaard. And it puts the Phillies in a better position. You still got to get a lot from Suarez tonight to help you out, but it also sets up Nola in game 4. Wheeler in game 5, if they decide to go that way. We'll talk about that, I'm sure, but it significantly helps them out, especially in tonight's game.
For the bullpen, they got an extra day of rest. Do you think that means that Rob Thompson will have a willingness to go to the bullpen earlier than expected?
I think so, but it's still a 7-game series. You're still thinking that it's going to be tough to eliminate the Astros in 3 straight games by beating them at Citizens Bank Park 3 times. So you got to still manage it thinking, hey, we might have to play until Sunday. That being said, yeah, I imagine with the extra day, everyone will be available. And if Ranger Suarez struggles early, it'll be similar to what we saw in game 1 in Atlanta, where he left early in that game despite dancing out of danger. Rob Thompson will be very liberal with the use of the bullpen tonight.
On the bump for Houston, it'll be right-hander Lance McCullers. He's kind of similar to Framber Valdez, the pitcher the Phillies just saw, in the way that he can dominate using that curveball. Do you think an extra day will help the Phillies prepare for McCullers tonight?
Knowing you're going to face the same guy 2 nights in a row and having that to prepare, it can be a benefit. Now, there was no on-field batting practice last night. So if anything, it's just a little bit more of a mental preparation on one pitcher. And the approach is something that needs to be slightly better than what it was against Valdez's breaking ball. So more time never hurts you when it comes to preparation against any pitcher. I imagine the Phillies won't mind having an extra night to get ready for McCullers.
Game 3 is set to be the first World Series game played in Philadelphia since 2009. And obviously, if it had been played last night, it would have been Halloween as well, giving the fanatic and the fan base a little bit of that extra energy. So do you think the delay is going to cost any of that energy for the fans tonight?
You know what? It's funny. We talked to some folks on the radio this morning when I was over on 97.5 doing the morning show. And we had a couple people tell us they're more amped up for tonight's game than they would have been for last night's game. Remember, an off night is an off night for the fans as well. And it's been a busy stretch for Philadelphia sports and Philadelphia sports fans. So everyone should be well rested. And with the better weather, it's a lot easier to get excited for tonight's game, maybe a longer tailgate, maybe a couple more beverages before people head in. So I think the electricity will be in the building tonight for sure.
It is a pivotal Game 3 of the series. Connor, which way are you leaning for tonight's outcome?
I'm going to go the same way I went when we talked about last night's potential game, and even more so now that Ranger Suarez is on the mound. I think this very much leans the Philadelphia Phillies way, and I think it certainly helps that they can now go to one of their top 3 starting pitchers. So I'm going Phillies tonight in a close one because McCullers is still a very good arm.
You can catch Game 3 of the World Series tonight at 8 on Fox 43. Thanks for joining us today, Connor.
Thanks again for having me as always.